Ralphie boy, how do you like your eggs? Poached, boiled, or scrambled on the floor, just like yourself? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. And we say goodbye to Mr. Ralph, the highest earner in Tony's crew. What the hell is the big man going to do?
What's he going to do, guys? Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It's whoever did this. And oh yeah, it's time to scramble those eggs. Just like his son got scrambled with a few arrows. We've heard of an arrow to the knee. This was an arrow to the midsection. The shoulder blade snapped clean in half to Big Justin. And we haven't seen Ralph's kids before, so I'll be like Polly. It was kind of hard to care, wasn't it?
Well, I think Polly could have been babysitting them for 10 years. He still wouldn't give a fuck about Ralph. I mean,
that's true.
I don't think it really matters how important Ralph's kids are. Polly's just a hateful guy and he doesn't like Ralph. So, I mean, both his kids could die in a car crash and Polly would probably celebrate it.
No, absolutely, I'll agree with that. And you know what?
Probably buy the car that did it and stick it in his garage.
I actually think Polly should have been took to one side and confronted about that behaviour. He is no proof, right, that Ralph's the one that phoned his mum and he's sitting there acting like that. What's worse, right? A prank call or his son literally in a coma? You're going to be a vegetable, probably never going to be able to speak. And Polly is like, oh, Ma was on the ICU for an hour and a half.
This kid's going to be in bed for the rest of his life, laying there, planked out. Anyway, don't worry.
He's no proof it was Ralph.
That's true, he's no proof it's Ralph, but don't worry, Ralph's kid's going to have Ralph for support. Ralph's a good earner. He will make sure his kid has all the money necessary, all the surgery, all the treatment he needs in order to try and pull through this and live a good life.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's came under him, man. The rug has been pulled, Ralph.
Ralph gets snuffed out because he wanted his corned beef a little bit crispy.
Anyway, let's gallop back to the start of this episode. Hey, Junior Soprano, he's leaving court. He falls down the steps after he gets hit by a boom mic. Thoughts on this, Junior?
I actually thought he threw himself down the steps. I think it's a plan. I don't know. I've got a feeling Junior's in on this. I think he's came up with some sort of mastermind that he's going to pretend that he's ill so it can, I don't know, get out of his...
Well, I can...
I think he's faking it. I think he tossed himself down those stairs.
Did you actually witness the scene? He definitely did not toss himself down.
I thought he did.
He got diving headbutted by a mic.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, that's a matter of fact. Anyway, Tony and Bobby, they come up with the grand idea of, well, you know what, pretend you've got Alzheimer's. But is he pretending?
Or does he actually got it? Because he's looking like he's falling off the rails.
He's 71, right? And, I mean, I think this show's actually kind of ruined this character. He's been under court, like, federal release, these court dates, pretty much ever since season 1 ended. And do you ever see it getting better for Junior?
He just doesn't really seem involved.
Yeah, like, Tony labels him as the guy, only to keep himself out the
guy. It's just
the feds crosshairs. It's
just someone sitting in a spare room.
But I mean, to wrap Junior up,
he's a bit part player.
You have to draw a circle on a bit of paper. Then Tony says, "I wipe your ass foot. They know you're fucked up," which I thought was kind of funny. But here he goes to some next door neighbour, man. He wants ice cream, but they've got no ice cream. So sad times for Junior. Was this acting? No.
No, I guess we'll find out. I think he's playing along, but maybe he is.
What I would say is, right, like, yeah, this incident could have triggered Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever, but you can't just go for being fine to rapping the next door neighbour looking for ice cream. I can accept forgetting.
Who do you think he is, Joe Biden?
Remember that ad with Joe Biden during the Super Bowl? I like ice cream. No one can take my ice cream away.
I like sniffing ice
cream. I
cream.
don't like the fact the prices are up. It's like, hold on, Joe.
Oh, you're the one to blame for the prices have been up everywhere, you fucking donut. Anyway, let's talk about two donuts. Ralph's kid and his little friend here playing in the park, and this was going to end in disaster. I mean, they're playing with a bow and arrow, and they're firing the arrow up into the air, and they're trying to run underneath the arrow so that the arrow lands and sticks in a board. I mean, this is like playing Russian roulette. It was always going to end in disaster. As soon as you see them doing this, you think, I mean, it's different if they're playing with a bow that's not even like sharp, if it's like one of those sticky bows, and it just sticks to a bow, but they're actually playing with an actual bow. Of course, this was going to fucking end like this.
Yeah.
But you know what? These kids are too old for me to have much sympathy for. I mean, it's not like they're young. It's on Wikipedia, it says they're 12. I'm sorry, see if you're shooting sharp bows up into the air and then standing underneath it, then if you die... Ivan Drago once said, if you die, you die.
Ralph's ex-wife tries to blame him. I'm not buying it. Yeah, you know what? It might have been a wee bit negligence.
He was taking... Negligence? He was taking a shower. I mean, he can't monitor... What would it... imagine if he says, all right, I'm taking a shower and I need to keep my eye on you guys 24/7, so come into the shower with me naked. I mean, would that...
fire arrow something.
Yeah, I think that would have been a wee bit worse for Ralph. So, I mean, what can the guy do?
If Ralph knew they were doing this, he would not have went and got a shower. He must have thought they were doing something else.
Playing football or...
Soccer, dude.
Whatever they do, I don't know. Ice hockey.
Shoot each other.
Aye.
Usually it's with guns, no arrows. But anyway, I mean, I'm not going to blame anyone
the American way.
apart from the two kids. It's fucking ridiculous.
Like I said, they're 12. Come on. Anyway, he gets rushed to hospital. Turns out he might not make it. He could die.
I think you could argue, right, that these kids shouldn't even be using bow and arrows in the first place. But I mean, come on. Actually chasing where the arrow's going to land? How stupid's that?
I know. Just straight up fucking retarded.
But again, I think this is a Sopranos problem, right? Why haven't we been introduced to this guy's kids? Or kid?
Yeah, Sopranos does this. It literally only introduces people when something's going to happen to them. So therefore, it's just... Paulie doesn't care about his kids. We don't really care about his kids. There's other shows where the kids are relevant. And, like, if something happened to Tony's kids, you'd care because they've been in it since the beginning. It would mean something. But when it happens to Ralph's kids who are literally just appearing for the first time, it doesn't really mean shit. There is a fire at the stable where pie oh my is being kept, and pie oh my is now a corned beef pie. The pie is being golden brown, it's been toasted there. The horse did survive, but unfortunately had nasty burns, and once you can't run, once you're injured, horse owners and stable owners, they don't give a fuck. They will put you down, and I don't care if you own a horse. That's as simple as that, man. They do. As soon as you can stop being providing an income, as soon as you start being
The word profitable for a horse.
That's the one.
Guys, we've got the brain dead horse here. Not the brain dead horse for Family Guy.
No.
Why just tell like that, Peter?
As soon as Pyomai stopped becoming profitable, its days were numbered.
Do we think Ralph did it?
He told so Tony.
Well, before we get to that, right, we did have the scene where Tony tells Ralph that he's seeing Valentina. Ralph doesn't really care. Why would he? His son's in the fucking hospital. Weird time for Tony to bring it up.
Now, I mean, that could that be
Is that motive?
Was Valentina
Also, the whole 200,000 insurance policy. But here, my problem with this scene is though, it's like the fact that Polly fucking blanks him, and then like, oh, Polly, you wouldn't understand. You've got naked. No, fuck off, Polly. You've no proof that Ralph did the prank call. And so what? The prank call was funny.
We're going back to that.
I know we are going back to this scene because that was just to introduce the start of the episode. But honestly, I think Tony should have. Tony only went through Polly when he said, "I'm going to kill him if I find out it was him." And then
you ain't killing anyone.
What was it Tony said? If you can reveal not reveal the rules. What is it? If you can quote the rules, you better fucking obey them or something. I like that line.
It was a good line for Tony.
And then he bottles and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to visit your ma, Polly."
Yeah, so Ralph gets told that Tony is dating Valentina. Is that a reason for him to maybe try and get back at Tony? Was Valentina meaning a lot to Ralph, and therefore Ralph knows this horse means a lot to Tony? Would Ralph do that? I mean, he seems like the kind of guy that would be a bit vindictive. I'm not putting it beyond Ralph. I mean, he killed a woman in cold blood, so I'm sure he wouldn't mind burning a horse down, especially if he's going to gain 100k from that, half of the insurance policy. But I don't know. I'm not too sure if Ralph done it. Tony goes to his house. Tony questions him. Ralph is like, "Holy fuck, Tony! It's just a horse." But Ralph denies it. I mean, at this point, if Tony thinks he did it and Tony's so upset about it and Tony doesn't believe him, you may as well just tell him the truth. Because Tony thinks he done it anyway.
Yeah.
So why deny it?
It's never confirmed if Ralph did it or not, right? But I think he did. But my problem with this is, right, I'm going to go back to Ralph and Polly one more time. Ralph basically puts together in this episode that Polly was the one that told Johnny Sack the joke, right? The Jenny Sack joke with his big fat wife. And what's Ralph want to do with that? He decides to prank Polly's mum.
It doesn't say he doesn't want Polly kicked out or anything like that, or he doesn't want to kill Polly.
Yeah, now Ralph commits a prank, and Polly wants him dead. You just see the polar opposites there. Even though Polly telling Johnny Sack that almost got Ralph whacked, Ralph might not know that, but he knows about the conversations that were had, and he had to...
Well, don't worry, Ralph got whacked anyway.
Ralph did get
There's
whacked.
Tony saying you're not going to kill anybody.
Like, whoever did this title of the episode got mentioned quite a lot of times this episode, and also Well, let's talk about the fight. We've got scrambled eggs. I mean, it was kind of weird. Tony was accusing him of it, and then he's like, I'll have eggs. And then he's like, oh, did you ring Silvio's friend? He knows a lot about house fires or fires, man. Arson. And then they get into it. I mean, I actually thought it was a pretty even fight. Till we got him on the floor.
Good fight, but then Tony decides to kill him. I don't know why Tony wasn't content just... But here's the thing. Like, what would have happened if Tony didn't kill him? What would have been the fallout of this? How would they have reacted? Because I remember when Tony punched him over attacking that woman, Ralph took it fucking bad. Now, on one hand, I think it's good the way Ralph can joke and just play pranks and, you know, play that shit off, but he really did act pathetic because Tony put his hands on him. He can turn around and say, I'm a made man, but at the end of the day, he killed someone. Someone innocent, so... I don't know. Tony, though, decides to kill him. Seemed a bit strange. He's Tony's berating Paulie for saying he's going to kill him, but then Tony kills him, 30 minutes later. He calls Chris. Chris is high as fuck, but has to come and help Tony. Tony lectures Chris for being high. But again, Chris isn't the person that's just killed someone. That would be Tony. And they spend the rest of the episode just cleaning up Ralph and chopping him into bits, burying the body. It was
funny when Chris came in. He's like, oh, ho, ho, ho.
What the hell's Ralph doing on the floor? And then they take Ralph, they're trying to cut his head off, and the toupee, the wig comes off. I thought that was pretty funny. But Chris doing Tony another solid here.
Pretty much the last half an hour of this episode is a clean-up job.
Yeah.
Get no one else in the episode apart from these two, which I kind of liked.
Yeah.
Proper cover-up.
Probably two of the better characters, if not the two best characters in the show. So yeah. I'm not going to complain about that. They cover it up. They bury some of the body. I think they bury the hands and the feet, and then the head, and then they bury the rest of the body in the river. And that's pretty much
apparently
it.
Where they buried it was Mikey Palmus's father's farm, which is pretty messed up considering the fact that they killed Mikey Palmus. But I mean, that's where it ends. Tony gets changed. He's wearing a Bada Bing shirt. He goes outside. Christopher. Then the episode just ends with him going out the fucking back door.
Yeah, looking like a bag of shit. Just walks out. It's like Walking Dead or something. He's just turned into a fresh zombie and he walks out to, I don't know, have a feast on the public. Weird end to the episode. It doesn't end on a cliff. It just ends on Tony waking up and walking outside, and that's it. Good. I liked it. Good episode, but weak ending.
It was a very weak ending. I mean, there's no cliffhanger about what they're going to do with this body, or I mean, you also had
just some fat guy walking out into the street shouting Christopher.
You had them cleaning up Ralph's house, and then they're sitting on the couch, laying all their DNA everywhere, eating peanut butter with a knife.
Walter White wouldn't be doing this. I mean, think of all the specks of blood and stuff they will have on their clothes, and they're sitting on the couch, and you tell me they've gave this entire house a fine clean down? Yeah, absolutely not.
I'm not convinced in the slightest. But here, I remember watching this first time. I was shocked at this death. I couldn't believe it happened. But is it the right decision to kill
I'm actually sad because I think Ralph is up with Tony and Chris. I think he's the best character in the show. And I would actually say, I'd say he's probably overtaken Chris.
Yeah, I think Chris took a back seat.
So
this junkie
for
phase.
me, I'm.
But it's who butts head with Tony? Now the guy that was butting heads with New York as well is at the picture. Just seems like everything's happy go Larry.
Yeah, I'm not happy they killed Ralph. Fucking dumb as well over this horse. Is what it is though. He's dead, and we'll have to find out what happens next.
You'll have to find out, but what happens next is a rating. I'll give this episode.
I'm gonna get an 8. I thought it was a damn good episode.
I think it's
one of the better episodes.
I think it's a great episode, right?
I'd say it's definitely top 5 from what I've seen so ending. Far. What's
the reason? All right, yeah. The reason is, right, Ralph's dead. How are the group going to find out what lies Tony going to commit? But it's not like the episode. It's not like the episode ends with him going to Christopher. So who are we going to put this on? It ends with him walking out the door.
Well, Tony's denying it was even him. So
does Christopher buy that?
Christopher would need to be a dumb bastard to think that Tony didn't do this.
Yeah, come on.
It's so fucking up. I mean, Chris walks in and Tony's been battered and his eyes are all red and he's been busted and stuff, and he's obviously been fighting. And he's been in a scrap, and then he just sees Ralph, and Tony's just standing there.
Drugged out his tits. Well, Christopher's drugged out his tits. Tony's tits are his face because he's a fat bastard.
But we'll see what happens up next, then. That's it, guys. I'm giving it an 8. You're giving it
I'm giving it an 8 too. I thought easily one of the better episodes of this season, and like you said, probably of all time. And it's a great episode, but it's not an episode of TV where I'm like, that could rival anything.
No, it was a good episode, great episode, best episode of the season. But yeah, but you know what? It's not often it gets an 8 out of 10, so I'm not going to complain.
That's it, guys. Till then. Peace.